There's wokeness in the world, Mr. Frodo, and it's worth fighting against. Today, ladies and gents, we've got a doozy. The fact that this is even a thing actually really legitimately depresses me. The sacrilegious, horrifying reality of Tolkien's legacy being spat on and finally happening. Hit the like button and subscribe, baby. With your help, this channel is going to the top. Jeff Bezos, in front of his team of peasants, asked the question, how woke should this Lord of the Rings TV show be? And one of the purple-haired, fart-sniffing weirdos says, woke it up all the way. Make them regret ever having heard of Tolkien. If you attached a generator to Tolkien right now, it would produce infinite kinetic energy from all the spinning in his grave he's doing. See, Tolkien might be dead, but I won't accept his life's work turning into a mockery. Because the way things are going, get ready for the Lord of the Woke trilogy. The representativity of the ring, the diverse towers, and the return of the genderless queen. Here's the kicker though, here's the plot twist. Sauron is now a stunning and brave female protagonist, escaping the bonds of men. Damn that patriarchy. The one series to rule them all, with Peter Jackson to find them. Another studio to make it woke, and in the brokenness bind them. The first time that anybody heard of this show, we all said, look, throw it in the fire. And the corporations are like, no. Has anybody else noticed how Amazon, one of the most powerful companies in the world, is making a movie about relinquishing a ring that symbolizes power? That is the most ironic thing ever. Another thing that I find ironic is that cue ball head Jeff Bezos is spending $1 billion on this and deliberately spitting on the very people who would support it. That's a bold move, you absolute keep attacking the fans, because that proved previously to be a winning strategy, you incredibly feeble-minded clown. That worked so well for Star Wars and Star Trek, Ghostbusters and Doctor Who. And I am sure it'll also work for Lord of the Rings. Good luck, you dense hippo. You know, I've noticed that calling fans ists and phobes has been the go-to excuse for every failed show or film in the past few years. This is nothing new. But nevertheless, it still blows my mind for the amount of money they've dumped into this. You'd think that they would try a different tactic. It's amazing the lengths that Hollywood will go to lose their audience. One does not simply get woke without going broke. That quote should be tattooed on Jeff Bezos' incredibly round head. Another ironic thing is that Jeff Bezos created Amazon as an online bookstore. Originally, you'd think he'd have more respect for one of the most significant fantasy novels ever written. But that is a metaphor for Hollywood and their aversion to source material. That's Hollywood in a nutshell. If it ain't broke, break it anyway. Bezos is as trustworthy a steward to Tolkien's legacy as Denethor was to Gondor's, and oddly enough, this is exactly Tolkien's whole message. Everything is getting worse. The pursuit of power and machines destroy the beauty of a quiet life. However, the screaming harpies on Twitter keep screaming Tolkien is for everyone. They say that while deliberately trying to erase, exclude, and kick out the very people that made and maintained the fandom for decades. Upon decades, the showrunner said he wanted to make the show for everyone. That should be the moment where the red flag should have been flying. That was the moment where we all should have been concerned. This means pander to every lowest denominator, i.e. throw away an incredibly rich IP. That will lead to the disappointment of the 99% so the 1% doesn't cry about it. And what some people don't seem to grasp is that one of the reasons why Lord of the Rings movies was so good is because it was filmed at the exact right time. The turn of the millennium, the beginnings of the 2000s was perfect for it. The technology was just good enough for all the insane things you needed a computer for to create realism. For example, Gollum. They weren't overusing effects like they did in the Hobbit movies, and they damn sure did not mix any stupid politics like they would today. And by the way, if they're so concerned about making it so it would reflect what the real world actually looks like, why not just have cars then, or tall buildings, or purple-haired SJWs glued to their cell phones, spending their entire days on Twitter? It doesn't make sense. Why would you even bother with the work of a fictional fantasy if your priority is reflecting what the real world actually looks like? That is a dumb, moronic way to waste your time. You know, some of the nitpicking SJWs on Twitter seem to completely miss the fact that Tolkien did in fact have inclusivity. It's just not in the way that these weirdos are used to seeing it. He didn't shoehorn it in. He didn't superficially virtue signal by compromising the integrity just to make a point. For example, just look at Frodo and Sam. As hobbits, they were a race that were constantly looked down on, literally and figuratively, but yet their bravery was greater than their perceived weakness, and they saved Middle-earth. I can keep going. One of the best female representation in film I have ever seen was Eowyn, the only strong female warrior who screamed, "I am no man," and it felt appropriate and not out of place. As she stabbed the Witch King in the face, Eowyn's character development was done so well. She is just a regular person who wants to fight because she truly believes in it. She's not some stone cold killer. She's just like any regular person who's terrified most of the time she's out there, but she powers through to protect her father. That, my friends, is how you create a female hero. No need for superpowers or a spandex outfit. Anyway, back on topic, you have to love the pre-excuses for why this show is going to flop. If you have Amazon Prime, get ready for your subscription to go through the roof to cover for the embarrassing amount of money that's going to be lost on this show. See, I knew that this abomination was going to suck balls when they fired Tolkien expert Tom Shippey from the production. He worked on Peter Jackson's trilogy and he was going to work on this, but he was swiftly given the boot by Amazon within a few days. Was it because he protested how off the rails this idiotic show was heading into a gigantic burning dumpster fire? And on that bombshell, the best case scenario is that Amazon's show sucks and becomes forgotten and obscure, and Peter Jackson's 11-hour version, the only version I might add, remains what everyone remembers Mannix out.